Welcome to this Bridgewater Now update. I'm John Luck. This weekend will bring the moment we've been waiting 15 months for. The state's face covering order will end this Saturday, as will the capacity limits in all industries. That face covering order will be downgraded to an advisory in line with the CDC's recommendations. Now that means masks will still be mandated for everybody who uses public and private transportation, including ride shares and the MBTA, and in healthcare facilities and places that host vulnerable populations, including congregate care. The Mass DPH is expected to recommend face coverings in all indoor settings for those who have not been fully vaccinated yet. At a press conference last week, Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker recognized the sacrifices of all in the Bay State, but also pointed out the perseverance of residents and businesses during a tough year.
The temporary limits and restrictions imposed on the private sector and on individuals were the most difficult decisions I've ever had to make. The loss and the isolation so many of our friends and families experienced is likely to impact all of us for a very long time. The Commonwealth was tested. Employers, small businesses, hospitals, healthcare workers, and first responders were pushed to the edge. But together, we all fought back, made changes as the facts on the ground changed, and never, ever stopped moving forward.
Governor Baker went on to say that the virus is still going to be in Massachusetts, but the knowledge of the medical community is greater than it was before with COVID treatments and the state's vaccination efforts. On Tuesday, the state stopped requiring pre-registration at many vaccination sites as the supply continues to increase and the demand has leveled off a bit. You can still find a COVID vaccine site, including the site over at BSU, by logging on to vaxfinder.mass.gov. If you already signed up through the registration site, you will still be able to make an appointment. And with restrictions lifting, many people are getting set to hit the road, and the Bridgewater Police Department has announced that they will be taking part in the National Click It or Ticket campaign. The department received a grant to take part in the effort and increase the awareness of seatbelt safety. From now until June 6th, state and local police departments across the country will step up efforts on enforcing seatbelt laws. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration released some surprising stats from 2019, including among young adults from ages 18 to 34 who were killed in passenger vehicles, 57% were unrestrained. 58% of pickup truck occupants killed in 2019 were not wearing a seatbelt, and finally 45% of front seat occupants who were killed in a crash were not buckled, while 58% of those killed in the back seat were not buckled. Bridgewater Police Chief Chris Del Monte urges all those who ride in a vehicle to wear a seatbelt. Getting a check of weather, and Wednesday felt like the middle of summer, but times are changing as Memorial Day weekend is on our doorstep. Jeff Fowler is here with the forecast, so what can we expect over the next few days?
John, we are welcoming in the first unofficial weekend of summer, but it will feel more like early spring, especially on Saturday as we wake up to a cool, raw, and wet morning. We should dry out as the day progresses, and any outdoor plans later in the day especially should be okay. Sunday will start out dry and could even brighten up with some sunshine for a time before some rain may return for late Sunday afternoon into Monday morning. This weekend is not a total washout, but you will need to keep the jackets and umbrellas handy for those outdoor events. I'm Jeff Fowler. Enjoy your weekend, everybody.
All right, thanks, Jeff. Even though the 5-day doesn't feature a whole lot of sun, this Friday is significant as we get set for the bright, warm days ahead during summer. Mary Evers has more.
The Friday before Memorial Day is known as Don't Fry Day. 1 in 5 Americans will develop skin cancer, and sunburns increase your risk. That's why it's important to protect your skin from the sun. Sunscreen is a good place to start, but according to Cleveland Clinic's Dr. Melissa Pilliong, many people don't use enough.
You should be using more sunscreen than you think you should and more sunscreen than you are. Studies have shown that people apply only 25 to 50% of the recommended amount of sunscreen. So what is the recommended amount? You should apply 1 ounce to cover your whole body. That's the amount in a shot glass.
Dr. Pilliong says that 1 8-ounce bottle of sunscreen should last a family of 4 one day at the beach. That's 2 applications for each person. She adds it's important to put on enough to get the full SPF protection listed on the bottle, so do not skimp. For people who prefer lotion sunscreen, you'll want to apply a good coat that's visible on your skin and then rub it in. If you're using a spray sunscreen, find a ventilated area and do 2 or 3 passes until you have a good shiny coat and then rub it in. So what sunscreen does Dr. Pilliong recommend? She says that the best sunscreen is the one that you'll actually use.
You want to look for one that's labeled broad spectrum. That means it protects from both UVA and UVB. You want to look for one that's water resistant. That means it's stickier to your skin and stays on up to 80 minutes in the water. And you want to look for at least an SPF of 30.
Dr. Pilliang reminds us that sunscreen should be reapplied every 2 hours and also after sweating, swimming, or toweling off. For Bridgewater Now, I'm Mary Evers.
Ending with a check of sports, and the BSU softball team embarked on a trip to the Lone Star State to take part in the NCAA D3 softball regionals. The tournament was a double elimination tournament, which meant BSU would have to lose 2 games before being eliminated. Game 1 saw BSU take on Emory and Henry, and the Bears would lose Game 1 4-0. Kelly Reichert went 6 innings, allowing 3 earned on 6 hits, but the BSU bats could only muster 1 hit, dropping them to the consolation bracket. And that game took place just hours after the first game against Cedar Crest, and BSU fell short by an 8-5 final. Megan Sharon went 2 for 4 with an RBI, while Reichert appeared in the circle for Game 2, going 5 innings in relief, allowing 4 earned runs on 7 hits. At the plate, she went 3 for 4 with a pair of RBI as BSU's season ends with a record of 17-11-1. Thanks for watching this Bridgewater Now update. I'm John Love.